Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield. And if you can't say anything nice about anybody, come sit by me. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, friend.
Hello, my friend. I promise that nothing will interfere with my ability to do a great podcast for you.
That's a good one, too. Oh, my gosh. We're doing a happy hour show, y'all, so consider yourself warned. We are dorking out about 1989's STEEL Magnolias. This has been a request multiple times. It's written by Robert Harling, based on his play. It's directed by Herbert Ross. I heard he was kind of a dick on this set. Did you hear that too? Yeah. I'm like, tisk, tisk, tisk. Disappointing. It stars Sally Field, Dolly Parton, national treasure, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, Olympia Dukakis, Julia Roberts, and some dudes. Tom Skerritt, Sam Shepard, and Dylan McDermott. Mm-hmm. Not that one. The other one. What's the other one's name that we all...
Dermot Mulrooney.
Dermot Mulrooney. Those poor dudes. Yeah.
Went like the first 20 plus years of their lives. Like, nobody's like me.
And then...
Shit. Hey, everyone. Sorry, I've been sick all week, so occasionally I have a coughing fit, so I'll just hit the mute button.
Yeah. I'm glad you're feeling better, though. She's on the road to recovery, and it was not COVID.
Exactly.
Yes. Did you see Steel Magnolias in the theater?
No, I have no memory of it. I think, honestly, it was something we rented. But then I saw it on TV 1,000 million jillion times.
Yes. So I 100% saw this in the theater because my mom and I went to the movies every Sunday, and I saw it in the theater. Then it came to HBO, and we recorded it off HBO. And this movie was like a nonstop playing movie in my house. My sister and I were just talking about this movie the other day, and she has declared it to be her all-time favorite movie, more than Jaws. She watched it on repeat when we recorded it, like all the time. So I know this movie, I think, pretty well. And it's just so fucking quotable.
It's very watchable.
It's so watchable.
So watchable. Like, you put it on, and I know everything that's going to happen, but I'm still completely in. I don't check my phone. Mm-hmm. I was completely into it.
Yeah. I love all here we go. I love all these characters. Like, I love their friendships. I love the way they interact with each other. I think the movie has really, really funny lines that just, fucking crack me up. And then when it needs to be dramatic, it's really dramatic. And
oh yeah, it gets dark.
And that part, even, it's still hard to watch. I know what's going to happen. I've seen the movie 100 times. More than that, but it still hurts. Like, it's still, I don't like to see people sad. I'm like Dolly Parton. Nobody cries alone in my presence. Shall we just go through it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the movie opens up on the day of Shelby's wedding. Shelby is Julia Roberts. She had done a few movies before this, like Satisfaction, which we want to talk about so bad, but is not.
It's on our list.
Not streaming. She had done Mystic Pizza.
Yep.
What else? There's probably something else, but she wasn't Julia Roberts at the time.
6 months before she does Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
And then she does Pretty Woman, and then she does like a movie. Like every 6 months, there's like a Julia Roberts movie coming out for a few years. She just became a supernova. But at the time, she was not famous at all. And I think she was like 6th listed or something.
Yeah.
And the whole story is about her.
Yes. It's about her, and it's also about the friendship between all these women that meet up at Truvy's beauty spot, which is Dolly Parton's beauty salon, and she owns it. We meet gorgeous, amazing Dolly Parton, who's so perfect for this role because she's playing herself, right? Like she's,
people say that, and I get that. It's still acting, and it's still performing.
Absolutely.
And it takes some skill, and it takes some confidence to do that, because there's people who play themselves in movies, and it's kind of stiff. It's a little, it's just not star quality. I mean, she knows what her image is.
Yes.
She knows, and she just shines it really well in this part.
Yeah, when I say she's playing herself, I mean, Truvy is such a wonderful person. Like such a good character who has so much empathy for everyone around her, but doesn't always direct that empathy towards herself. And
she has two men in her life. There's her husband, Spud. These names, wow.
But it's Sam Shepard.
Right.
I get it.
God.
Woo-hoo. Oh, hi.
He's like, yeah, exactly. I would lose my mind. What? When he's in the room. And then she has a son that's like a punk rocker type.
Yeah.
And he doesn't talk to her. Or they're just, and they both kind of take her for granted.
Yes, they just take her for granted.
Yeah.
And she has this, the line about there's no such thing as natural beauty. She's so great. So we meet her. We meet Clary, which is Olympia Dukakis, and she is the former first lady of the town. Her husband used to be mayor. He's passed away, and she is just rich and hilarious. Like clearly likes to have fun wherever she goes.
Right. She's a widow on the run on the warpath, or not the warpath, but she's been kind of let out of her shell.
Yeah.
And she's enjoying it.
Yeah, and we meet Daryl Hannah, and she's the new girl. She's come to town to get a job at Truvy's beauty salon. She's very shy. I love her glasses. I would wear those. Mm-hmm. And she has a past. They're like very intrigued by her past, and her past is she was married. The marriage may or may not be legal, and her husband was a criminal who stole from her. He was a dick. And of course, there's Sally Field's character, which is Malin. That is Shelby's mom. Sally Field is so fucking good in this movie.
None of these people look related. Nobody. No. But I totally buy it. Mm-hmm. I totally buy that she is the mother of this like 6-foot glamazon.
Yes.
That her daughter, like, I totally get it. And she's young too. She was like 44 or something.
Yeah.
When she played the part, and her accent is great. It's not too much. It's not too little. I think her and Tom Skerritt have good chemistry. Mm-hmm. He's a fucking lunatic, this guy.
Tom Skerritt?
Yes.
Or the character in general. Drum.
I don't know about Mr. Skerritt. I'm sure he's a nice person. I've never heard anything different.
Yes, but Drum is crazy.
Drum's nuts. And then we're introduced to all this, like, and there's also things now like, oh, wow, like he's just shooting things and they're all hearing gunshots and they're kind of laughing.
Yes.
And nowadays that's kind of maybe.
So, yeah, I think they later say they're blanks, but we don't know that.
Kill a person with blanks.
Like we don't know that for quite a bit of the beginning. Yeah. And he's just shooting into this tree to scare off birds. And he is like a total weirdo. And while he's shooting his blinks and scaring off these birds, he is upsetting Weezer's dog. And Weezer is Shirley MacLaine, who's so fucking funny in this movie.
She is having so much fun, and she's always been kind of glamorous. Yeah. We've talked about her in other films. She was a dancer.
The Apartment.
The Apartment where you curse Sonia. Remember that?
It would be so nice to listen to this episode. Too bad Sonia's cursing all the time, ruining such a pleasant conversation with fuck this and fuck that. She's adorable in the Apartment. Everybody drink. Yeah.
And she was like 55 or something. I mean, it's so funny now, but she's like, I'm old and I'm tired and I'm just gonna do my own thing now.
Yeah, she's old and she doesn't give a fuck anymore. There I go, swearing again. And her dog is like losing. She's got this Saint Bernard that's losing his hair because he's stressed out about the shootings that are going on. Poor dog.
watching her manhandle that dog on the leash, tied to the tree.
Poor Rhett.
I'm like, you're gonna choke him. Like, we can't. Yeah, but she comes in, and she's just full tilt boogie. Like, she just does it full tilt.
Yeah, they're all in on all of these parts. She's just so funny. She has so many of my favorite lines in this. We also meet Shelby's husband, which is Dylan McDermott. And,
yes, not Dermot Mulrooney.
Not Dermot. The guy also known as not Dermot Mulrooney. And he is so, like, handsome, but whatever. Like,
there should not be a marriage. I mean, they look like they're babies.
Right?
They're very young.
Yeah, they've got to be like 22 or something.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't live together. Like, she's still living at like her parents' house. It's very old fashioned that way, I guess. He's like sneaking in the window and confirming that she's going to marry him because apparently they had an argument the night before about that she shouldn't have children. And he always really wanted kids, and he's saying that they'll adopt and things like that. And that comes into play because it's revealed that Shelby has type 1 diabetes, and hers is really bad. It's not an under control situation here. Like, they make it very clear that her case is special. And because there are women that have type 1 diabetes, they do have babies, and it's fine. They just have to be careful. Shelby's not one of those women. And she goes to Truvy's to get her hair done. And by the way, there's the hair in this movie so big. So big.
It's gigantic. It's the bigger the hair, the closer to God.
Like, so much hair teasing, so much hairspray. But Truvy does Shelby's hair for her wedding. And of course, it's like big and curly and, you know, super 80s and beautiful, by the way. It's like she's got luscious hair, it's for sure. But she has a hypoglycemic attack, and she just like messes herself up. And you see like how out of herself she becomes when this hits her. It's really scary. Yeah. I was really scared for her when I saw this the first time.
That's the part of the movie that's hard for me because I had a cousin that had diabetes. Yeah. And she had it that bad. And there was one time I was staying over at their house, and she went into a coma while I was there.
That is really scary.
So it was really, So like, it's very hard when you know people with diabetes and you know people have that, you know, not like nowadays they have the pump that goes in the stomach and goes, you know, it's dangerous. And I had a cousin who, like, every once in a while, like, she would go drinking with her friends, or she would, because you want to live your life. You don't want to feel different.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I'll say, like, you know, on a personal note, that stuff hits me a little different now than it did in 89 when I was 18 seeing this movie, or even when I watched it in my 20s or my 30s. You know, I am someone who's had health problems. You know, I had breast cancer twice, and in between those diagnoses, I had a kid. And, you know, after the first one, they were like, maybe kids aren't a good idea for you. Like, that was an estrogen positive cancer. And I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Wow.
You know, and like, yeah, because I was like, well, yeah, but I want to do this, and I'm sure it'll be fine. And then it happened again, and it was more aggressive, and, you know, steps had to be taken. So like, it hits differently for me now.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm fine, by the way, everybody.
Like, thank God, yes.
Like, I'm
Knocking
fine.
on wood, yes.
Yeah, let's knock on wood. I don't have cancer anymore, but it was definitely like a more aggressive cancer. And 18-year-old Sonia seeing this movie was like, girl, just adopt. Like, you know, just adopt a baby. Like, it's not a big deal. But then as someone older who it's not the same. Like, I'm not Shelby, but like, I understand the motivation a little bit more. But there's something I wanted to ask you about, actually, because I know you did this for Book versus Movie, so you know a lot more about the true story than I do. So when I'm just jumping all over the place, everybody.
It's fine. That's what we do.
That's what we do. So when Shelby tells Malin she's pregnant and says, I think it would help a lot. It would help things a lot.
Yeah. So is it Robert Harlan or Harling, the writer of the play and the
Harling.
screenwriter? Yeah. His sister was diabetic, and they were very, very close. And she encouraged. They lived in Louisiana. I think it was Louisiana, but they lived in the South. And she encouraged him to go to New York and be a writer and be something.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried acting, and he tried theater writing. He did all these things. And then they were both young. They were under 30, I think. And then she married somebody that his family wasn't that. There was just some kind of tension about the man, the guy.
Mm-hmm.
They get married. She gets sick. She has a kid. She gets sick and dies. And then he remarries her husband
mm-hmm.
under 6 months after she died.
Damn.
And, I think Meryl Streep got married pretty quickly after John Cazale died.
Oh, right.
I think, sometimes you do meet somebody, but it is hard for a family when somebody dies and then someone else just kind of moves on really quickly.
Yeah.
And if there's some tension anyway, you wonder.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, they're like, yeah, the feeling I get is that it was part of her rush, and my cousin had this too, and she passed away in 94. She was like 27.
Mm-hmm. That's so young.
It's so, and I think about it now all the time because she was so young.
I'm sorry, Margo. That's really sad.
Thank you. Yeah, we were close. And she went through so many harrowing emergencies her whole life.
Yeah.
Constantly in and out of the hospital. And she just wanted to be normal. And she just wanted to have a boyfriend and date and,
mm-hmm.
and do things. And it's very difficult when you have a physical challenge like this. And you're dependent on your parents because they're paying all the bills and
mm-hmm.
they're and all that stuff. Anyway, so Shelby, I feel like the character she's, she wants to not be, wants to be independent. He seems like a nice guy. He's a good catch. He's good looking. He's a lawyer,
mm-hmm.
and he could take care of her.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe he was really someone who she could tell, like he really wanted a big family.
Right. And
that's the one thing she couldn't do because she's everything. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's young. She's sweet. Their parents like him. Like but it's the big deal to have a kid.
Yeah.
And if you really want one, and I have friends who struggled for years to have one.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Like,
yeah,
if you want a child and you can't or shouldn't, it's really hard. And and it fucks up your body, FYI. Like,
all those treatments.
Yeah, it's tough.
And they're expensive.
Yeah.
And people are judgy and judgmental
mm-hmm.
about your choices. And but we have to understand also today, like diabetic treatments have come such a long way since they did in the 80s. And it was a big deal, like to go into shock. They did, and it was you could wind up in the hospital. At least my cousin was going blind at the end, and they were going to, it was really, so that there's that personal part of me. But I get it. She wants to feel normal. And like she probably feels like my cousin felt, is that she wasn't going to live a very long life.
She says the line, I think it would help things a lot. And that line this time hit differently for me because I wondered, like, is she not happy in the marriage? And is she looking to like make the marriage seem happier by having a baby? I'm like, was there marital problems? Or
I think she really loved babies. So she worked in a hospital, and so did, I think her name was Susan, if I'm not mistaken, his sister in real life.
Yeah.
And if you really want a baby, like it's all you can think about. And they say, well, just adopt. And it's like, well, if you have a major health issue that does hurt your chances, I mean, you could get an older kid, but if you really want a baby, that's, I don't know. But I think they're very young when they get married. I mean, maybe live together a couple of years, just see if they're compatible.
Right. And
not
also
that solves everything, but.
And keep in mind, like, the picture we're being painted in this movie is things are very, very traditional. Like I said, like they didn't live together before they got married. And the whole thing is you get married and you have kids. That's what you do. And that pressure and that desire must be really, really strong.
And I think it still exists.
For sure.
I mean, even in New York sometimes, you know what I mean? You think it's just in the South, but there's a lot. It's been almost fetishized, like getting married, having kids, being a family. It's considered just what everybody just does, and not everybody has the opportunity.
Yeah. Or wants to, by the way.
Or wants to, or it's going to cost a lot of money, or it's going to cost, anything. I mean, so, and it's one of those questions that people, I don't know if they do this as much, but back then, I know I've done it. Like, when are you having a kid? When are you having kids?
Yes.
When are you going to have, you say that because it's just what you say to married people.
Dude,
I don't know what the fuck to say to them.
I'm like, I had it for.
I was young. I
was getting the when are you going to have kids? Like the day I got married. I was like, damn, I like just got married.
Wow.
Like, no, come on now. Let me enjoy this day. Damn. It's
just the expectation.
People have expectations for sure. I mean, and we've talked about this before. Like, there's expectations when you're divorced. It's like, well, when are you going to date again? Mm-hmm. When are you going to meet someone else? I'm like, never. Maybe never is fine. Like, but yeah, everyone else, it's about managing other people's expectations. Yeah. But I jumped ahead because I don't want us to skip the wedding. So Shelby gets married. She has like 9 bridesmaids. They're wearing some of the ugliest fucking bridesmaids dresses.
The decor is amazing. It's so. Have you worn a pink bridesmaid gown? Me too. I've worn pink.
Yes.
And purple. I actually had a pretty one that was navy blue.
Ooh.
But it was like very tight and long. And it was like, well, you can cut it and dye it. I'm like, or I could just buy a black dress.
Nobody does that, by the way.
Nobody does. No, you donate it and some teenager wears it to their prom. I mean, that's the natural order of things.
I had to wear like a fuchsia colored bridesmaid's dress that was strapless, and it had a jacket with like puffy sleeves, and it like snapped in the front, and there was like a rose over the snap. It's pretty bad.
I had a fluorescent pink one in '89. It's my first wedding that I was in, and it was very puffy, long lace.
Yeah.
And tight bodice, and it was a T length. And I have like skinny ass ankles that never looks good. It just looks like little pegs sticking out.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I have cankles.
Anyway, we always bitch about. I mean, I think it was like one dress I could think of, and I was like, "Oh, it was navy." That's why the other ones were hideous. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, So like, and the whole church is pink, and like it's like pink, everything. And then we go to the reception, and this is like when all the characters really start to shine. So we get, there's all this dancing, and there's this like hideously ugly like groom's cake that's an armadillo, and like Weezer's cutting up the cake, and it's so gross. It's like,
the frosting is disgusting.
Yeah, it's all like gray frosting, and it's like red velvet cake on the inside, and like, Drum comes up to her and says something fucked up, and she gives him a piece of cake, and she just cuts off the butt of the armadillo, and he's like, "He's just what I wanted, a little piece of ass," or whatever. It's like, and we get the woman who's out like dancing, and she's it looks like 2 pigs wrestling under a blanket, and Dolly Parton's character, Truvy, says, like, "I haven't left the house without Lycra on these thighs since I was 14. Clarice says, "That's because you were brought up right." Like, the idea that you still have to wear a girdle, like, even in '89, the idea that you would still...
And then also, like, that woman is clearly having fun. And
by the way, she's like, having a blast.
Yeah, I'm like, what are y'all bitching? I mean, I'm sure they're just starving to be as thin as they were.
Yes.
Because they're both in their 50s and tiny.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of shade. But a lot of shade. What am I talking about? Yeah, I like the weddings. The wedding sequence is great. And then that outfit she wears, God, she's totally into pink. Like,
yes.
That's her whole thing. That suit she wears, and that she has the 2 brothers who never age in like 3 years. I mean, there's certain things you have to just go along with.
Yes.
But they're funny and they're supportive. But I couldn't tell you their names. I couldn't tell you.
Right.
But the whole thing, and this is, I don't know if you did this. I had to. I looked up the reviews for the movie.
Yeah.
In '89 when it came out. It was November of '89. All men reviewing it, and they're all kind of like, there's only a couple of men that talk, and only a couple of times I'm like, have you heard of Diner? That's just dudes talking.
Yeah.
You have plenty of examples of movies, like most of them are just for you.
Yes. It's so funny to me because you ask, like, all these guys who reviewed this movie are like, it's melodramatic, or there's no men in the movie, or all the men are buffoons, or whatever. I'm like, these are the same guys that love like something like Shawshank Redemption, which, by the way, I also love. But like, there's no women in Shawshank Redemption, and you
literally you don't see any. There's like a bank teller. I think that's it.
Right. Like, and you don't see female critics going, there's no women in this movie. Like, it's like not a complaint.
And by the way, the play didn't have any men in it. The play just had the women. It's because that's the story they're telling. It's about the Magnolias. It's not about I don't know what the male version of that is, but they're all good friends, and they're all in different phases of their life. And Weezer, which is Shirley MacLaine, is just sort of, she's been married twice to two bums, 3 ungrateful children.
And I love
she's richer than hell, and
she says, I'm richer than God.
I have more money than God, and she's just gonna not wear makeup and wear overalls and just be grumpy. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I get it too. I'm like,
burn it all down.
Yeah, my sister and I have had many conversations about just leaning into like being an old lady who doesn't give a fuck anymore. And that's basically Weezer and Clary. Like, they're just doing their thing, especially Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it when Shelby, like, it brings Owen, like, a blast from Weezer's past around, and Weezer turns around to say hi to him. She's got, like, ranch on her face or something, and she's, like, licks it off or whatever. She's like, I'm not as sweet as I used to be. Like,
I love it when she says, I've just been in a bad mood the last 40 years. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
She has many good lines.
She should have been nominated for an Oscar. This is like such a great. They're all really good. Julia Roberts, we didn't even say. Like, she is incandescent in this part. She is going to be a movie star. She's just so great.
Yeah, and it's such an important part because she is the driver of the story. The movie is really about her, and you need a Julia Roberts for that part. You know, I know that they had talked about like Winona Ryder or Meg Ryan, or at certain point, Winona Ryder would have been too young, and Meg Ryan, I guess they released her to go do When Harry Met Sally, which is Chef's Kiss.
Better choice.
Like, the way better fit for Meg Ryan.
What was Winona playing at the time? She was like me and it was the Jerry Lee Lewis movie.
Yeah, I'm like,
Great Balls of Fire.
So bad.
God, it's terrible.
It's so bad. We talked about Jerry Lee Lewis on What a Creep.
What a Creep.
Yeah. What she was doing, like what, Beetlejuice and Heathers. Heathers probably came out this year, actually, 89.
Yeah, she was also engaged to Johnny Depp.
Ew.
Yeah, this is when she made Mermaids. Yeah.
Oh, that's
anyway.
Mermaids.
That's a movie. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the friendship between these women. That's the thing that, like, I just really clicked for me more so even this time. The idea that these women always have each other's back. Even Annelle, the Daryl Hannah character, who she goes through serious changes in a short period of time. She shows up. She's very shy. Once her deadbeat husband, Bunky, gets arrested, she goes wild, apparently, but we never see it. And she's like drinking and smoking and, you know, she's
fooling around.
And she had met Sammy, the bartender, at Shelby's wedding. Poor Sammy.
Kevin J. O'Connor.
Yeah, poor.
We talked about him in The Mummy. We talked about The Mummy.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I knew I recognized him. poor Sammy, who just doesn't know which Anel he seems to be getting any time of the day. Like,
he loves her so much.
He loves
right
her.
off the bat. He's so understanding. Yeah, she becomes a really, she becomes a zealot. Like she joins a Christian group, and then all of a sudden she's like, I don't like beer, and I'm going to pray all the time.
Yes.
I think Daryl Hannah's great in this movie. Some people don't. I think she's great.
I think she's great too, and I think she does a lot with a small part compared to everybody else in this movie. She doesn't stand out like Olympia Dukakis or Shirley MacLaine in the supporting roles, but she's still really good. And I don't think Anel is supposed to stand out more than she does. I think it's a
group story.
Yes.
They all have a thing to say, but Shelby is the center of it. Shelby is the reason they're all together that day. And then Shelby becomes pregnant, and Melinda is furious because, and I get it, she raised her, took her probably like my cousin. By the way, I just realized the math in my head, Sonia, she was 24.
Oh God,
I know.
So young.
I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, you take, I get it now. Like you try to say to them, like, no, you can't do this. This is very dangerous. This is what, but I also get why some people are miracles and they can, and it just happens. So I don't know. This movie gets to me. It gives me all the feels.
Absolutely. And I think that's why so many women still respond. I don't even want to say just women. I think there are definitely men that respond to this movie as well. But but women,
if you have a heart.
Yeah, but I would definitely say that women, this is one of those movies that women just love to watch.
Because we have a variety of women to relate to.
Yes.
In different life stages, different temperaments, different belief systems. What a shock. Versus we watch a movie and we get the wife and the boss,
the girlfriend,
the girlfriend, the daughter. It's the femme fatale. It's like a group of them, and they're doing different things, and they have these great. The scene with Shirley. Okay, so Olympia Dukakis. Sorry, what is her name?
Clary.
Clary buys a football team. She buys a radio station. Sorry, which is adorable too, because that used to be worth something.
Yes.
But she buys the town radio station because she loves football. I love this about her. She loves football so much. And then they're in the locker room, and Shirley MacLaine is just checking out all the dudes' asses and dongs. It's so great.
Pulls her
that
little
makes
mirror,
me laugh so fucking hard.
Her mirror out of her little makeup mirror, and sets it up so she can look behind her.
And Clary is just talking about the colors, there's teal and aubergine. She's like, "You idiot!
Nobody cares about any of that shit. Was it any of that grape shit?" She's so funny. Oh my gosh, she's so funny.
She's so good.
There's also a whole thing about one of Olympia Dukakis's nephews comes out as gay, and she asks him how do you meet people? The way she says it. And he says, all gay men have track lighting, and all gay men are named Mark, Rick, or Steve. Here comes Weezer, and she's like, I have track lighting. My grandson put it in for me. Oh, how is your grandson? Steve's fine. Just a little nod to Weezer's personal life that we know nothing about. Their track lighting.
And she's she has grandkids and stuff. And she's just sort of I want to be Weezer if I want to be anybody. It's just have enough money to just do whatever the fuck you want every day.
Yeah.
Have these great friends and they don't mind.
Yeah.
They put up with you. They love you anyway. That's what you want.
Yeah. I love Clary's Weezer, come see plays with me. And she's like, I don't see plays because I can nap at home for free.
For free.
I don't see movies because they're trash. She's so funny. She's
great.
I am pleasant. She just doesn't give a fuck. I love it. We should all channel our inner Weezer.
Yes. So Shelby does have the baby.
Yes.
And that's a little girl, by the way,
yes.
that plays the little boy. beautiful child.
Yeah, beautiful. Cute little thing.
Cute little thing, little towhead. And she's starting to have issues.
Yeah.
And she's, I remember my cousin having those marks on her arm because they were constantly doing tests on her, but she needs to get a kidney transplant.
Mm-hmm.
And so Malin's going to, and by the way, you can do that for somebody, and you can live a long life with just one kidney.
True.
If you're healthy.
Yes, this is true. I remember my dad saying one time that if he ever needed a kidney, he would ask my brother. And I was like, he'd probably say no, Dad. Are you sure you don't want to ask like me or Michelle? And he's like, oh, I would never ask you girls for that. Like what?
What a paternal thing.
I know. I'm like, that's fine. Okay.
All right.
Ask Eric. Let me know how it goes.
But they do. And then she's okay. Like she has this, and that's supposedly like is supposed to help her marriage. The little boy is like the center of everybody's world.
Yes, everyone's in love with him.
And born on the 3rd of July.
Yeah, and he's
which is the day we're recording.
That's true,
right?
Right. It was meant to be. First grandchilds are special. Just saying.
They really, really are. Everyone loses their shit.
Like I was a first grandchild for sure.
Yeah,
like,
Joe was my brother. Yeah.
100%, like both sides of the family lose their mind. They dote on you. It's why I walk around going, I'm special. Look, y'all, I'm just special. It's fine. I'm better than everyone. That's all. That's all. So yeah, they do the surgery and it looks like it's going to go fine, but it doesn't. Like Shelby knows that things are starting to go wrong. She's not feeling right. And then she goes to pick up Jack Jr. and
the first time I saw this, I was so fucking upset because it's so realistic how they do it. There's no like dramatic music.
Mm-mm.
They don't like have a cutaway shot or she just kind of falls.
Yeah.
And then the next shot is her husband comes home and the baby is crying, screaming, crying, and the pots are boiling over on the stove, and then she's just laying in the backyard, like on the steps, like all
fucking nightmare.
Askew. It's the scariest thing. It is like your and she gets the haircut.
Yeah. Oh,
just before, and I love the scene where she looks at her appearance. She starts crying because like her hair was her glory, that. And she's young and she wants to still be beautiful and like have that luscious hair. But she realized like, I'm going to need simplicity. Like I got to grow up and face my responsibilities.
Yeah.
And this is what I got to do. It's going to make your life much easier just to do this.
Yeah.
And so there she is in the hospital. And then you find out in the movie that Harling, it's the actual doctors and the nurse that worked on his sister.
That is
unbelievable. And so it has to have been Louisiana because that's where they filmed it.
Yeah.
And the nurse, and Sally Field, like, trying to get her to like do the leg exercises and get her to
never leaves her side.
I mean, and I wouldn't either if that were my daughter. No way. No fucking way. I would be there too because you never know. Mm-hmm. And then they have to make the tough decision to let her go. And it's the nurse that actually pressed the button.
I don't even know how.
And his mother was there watching it. And she said she wanted to see it because she wanted to see Julia Roberts wake up afterwards
and walk
away. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, what kind of pain those people have been through.
No, because it's not fair. It's just,
it's not fair. Oh yeah, it's big bullshit.
I know we're going to get to the graveside thing here in a minute, but I want to talk about, I can't believe we almost bypassed over, like, when she cuts her hair and, like, it seems like a little scene, but I think for probably women, that scene is not little because, if you know anything from Fleabag, there's a whole scene where they talk about hair is everything and why hair matters. And it's true. Like, women put a lot of care and effort into their hair, and it's part of our
identity.
Yes. And so when you cut your hair, and you make a big change, it's a big deal.
A bad haircut, a bad dye job,
Yeah.
that is just going to bum you out.
Yes.
A bad perm, a bad anything.
Yeah.
And it's not a great haircut. I mean,
No.
there's a million other ways she could have done that.
Yeah,
but
she could have got a real cute bob or something, but she does this other thing. And it's a super mom haircut, and like it's very appropriate for like where they are in the movie and things like that. But like, you know, I know like people love to make jokes about like women who go through breakups and they like cut their hair, they color their hair. And it's because like our hair is so much, like you said, tied to our identity that when we change it, it's because we're changing something big, you know? And so she looks in the mirror and she sees this really big change, and it's like hitting her that she's doing something really different and really scary. And like that also hits for me in a different way now than it did in the past. I'm someone who also went and got a very short haircut before my chemo. And by the way, it was adorable. My short haircut. I got a cute little bob with bangs. It was one of those like French bobs, and it was cute as fuck. Just saying. But you know, but it's a huge change to like look in the mirror and see that. And then, you know, like you said, she's in the hospital, and like all that waiting, and like Malin is just like, she won't leave. You know, what if she wakes up for 2 minutes and I'm not here?
And
it's like,
and I get that. I totally understand. And spoiler, she dies.
Yes.
And it's a fucking bummer.
Yes.
Julia Roberts, like I said, she's a big movie star. She's a big light in this film.
Yeah.
And then she's just gone. And the father and the husband, everybody's just destroyed. And now they have to go on with their lives. Yeah. And, you know, and people, I've been through this because I've had a lot of personal loss. Like people do say things like, oh, it'll be okay. You know, some days you're going to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody knows what to say because you don't know how you're going to act when it happens. Yeah. And it's hard and it's bullshit. And it's
because, well, there's nothing that people can say that's going to.
Nothing fixes it.
Nothing's going to fix it. You know,
it's just time.
Yeah. And so when Shelby dies, Malin drives like day and night to go get Jack Jr. somewhere and like hug that baby. And that made me sob this time. Just sob. Like to hold on to that little piece of Shelby.
Yeah, that's what you're grateful for. It's like ironic because the thing that shortened her life is something that actually makes her live forever because it's in him. Yeah. It just got me in the hit me in all the fields this time. And you know, Malin is at the graveside and all the ladies gather around her, and like she finally just like, you know, well, actually she's very stoic for a while, and then that's when we get Annelle with her, you know, she's with God now kind of thing, which isn't as comforting as you want it to be, Annelle, but at the same time, there's nothing you can say. It's good to just say something like, I'm here. You don't know what to say. And I get that. Yeah.
And a lot of times people, when bad things happen, when people lose people, we retreat because it's hard and we don't know what to say. So we just don't say anything. And it's like, I think it's better to say, I don't know what to say than to say nothing at all. And I'm like, you know, tip of the hat to Annelle for saying something, even if it's kind of dumb. Like, you know.
Right.
It ends in a sweet place with like, I like knowing that she's up there on my side, which is super sweet. Very sweet. But, you know, it's not necessarily going to make you feel better. But.
Right.
And then
people say the God stuff. It's like, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, because not everyone believes what you believe.
Right.
And
I want them now. Like, I don't know when I'm going to die and see him again. Like, I want them here with me.
Yeah. And but it's like so real when she says, I guess I'm selfish because I'd rather have her here. And I'm like, that's how everyone feels. It's like, it's just very real to me. The scene.
Yeah.
Once again, people might say it's melodramatic and over the top, but it feels really real to me as someone who is trying super hard to like keep it together and then finally just breaks down and like.
It's also just a couple of decades of her helping Shelby. Like she brought her into the world, raised her, found out she had diabetes, and then spent, the 70s and 80s like getting her out of the hospital, getting her through school, helping her through it. I'm sure they had a lot of scares up until that point. And now she's just gone.
Yeah.
It's
no. And like parents losing their kids. I can't, it's the fucking worst thing I can imagine. I just can't imagine it. But I do appreciate when they break it with some levity with the, she says like, I just want to hit something until it feels as bad as I do. And then Clary's like, hit this.
Hit Weezer.
And she's like, are you high, Clary? It's really funny, and they all start cracking up, and of course Weezer's all pissed, and then the part that always cracks me up is Weezer like storming off, and they're like, come back, and she like flips them off like with the arm gesture, like it's like such an aggressive thing. It just cracks me up. And
which is what the scene needed. Totally needed it.
And they go back to Malin's house, and Clary and Weezer make up, and I love this scene where they're like fighting on the bench, and she pushes Clary off, and Clary says, I love you more than my luggage. I don't know why it always makes me smile. And what does she say? Weezer can never stay mad at me. She worships the quicksand I walk on.
Like there are so many good lines.
So many good lines.
So clever, and that man is the boil on the butt of humanity. There's just
so many good lines, and it's very sweet. Like Anella is pregnant, and she is going to name the baby Shelby. After and I think that's very sweet. And then we cut to like Easter, and Spud has finally decided to pay attention to his gorgeous wife, Dolly Parton.
Right.
He builds her a second location, and she's like, I'm a chain. Like, it's so cute.
I would actually want to work there.
I would for sure want to work there.
You would be a goddess. Are you kidding?
Yes.
You and your saddle shoes and your pink hair and your sweaters and stuff.
Oh my God, I would fit right in.
Rock the place. Yep.
I love that Truvy asks Malin, because Malin works at like the guidance center at the hospital, and she's like, you know everyone's twisted little secrets. She's like, why don't you tell me some and see if I could guess? I love it so much. Anelle's starting to give birth, and I think it's very funny where they're like, oh my God, like, and they're freaking out, and they get her in the car, and there's just this whole thing with like Truvy's son is on a motorcycle, and he's like, come on, Sammy. And Sammy's dressed as the Easter bunny, and he's like like running over to get on the motorcycle. And it's just such a like cute
hopeful
little
ending.
Yes, exactly. And Clary is telling Jack Jr. a story, and she makes Weezer the villain. So when he sees Weezer, he freaks out and cries. Like, she's so mean.
He slaps her across the face.
I know. I'm like, that's not nice. But it's just such a good movie, and it doesn't feel like anything's wasted. It just moves. It's less than 2 hours, and I really, really care about all these people.
It's got a great sense of place.
Yeah.
I mean, they filmed it on location. You kind of really feel Louisiana, and the crawfish, the music, the fashions are great. These women just love each other, and you could just see how much, connection they have with each other. It's just really great. And like I said, like I'm just I know all the scenes, I know what's happening, and I just put on the movie and I just watch it. I don't get distracted.
Yes.
Did you see I mean, everybody knows there is an African-American version.
I have not seen it.
It's okay.
Yeah. It was on Lifetime, right?
Lifetime with Queen Latifah.
I do love Queen Latifah.
She's great. She's great. Did you know that it was going to be made into a TV series? So there was a pilot.
Ooh.
And it was Cindy Williams that played the Sally Field part.
Oh. Okay.
Shirley from Laverne and Shirley. Yeah. Not great. But like this, it was a phenomenon, this movie. And once again, wow, you put a bunch of women in a movie, some of them middle-aged. No. And people will show up and see it.
This happens all the time. Whenever a movie comes out that's for women, we went through this with Bridesmaids. Yeah. We went through this with even Wonder Woman. When movies come out that feature women and are targeted towards women and they make money, Charlie's Angels, when they make money, they go, this is going to break Hollywood. It turns out chicks like to go to the movies and we're going to get more chick movies. And we never do.
It was like Beaches was just the year before and that made a shitload of money. And people make fun of chick flicks. It's like, we got one or two a year if we were lucky. Yeah. That's why the Lifetime channel was created. That's why they made movies. Yeah. Just because we were starving for this kind of content. And it's a very funny movie. And, I think a straight man would totally enjoy this movie. I think there's a lot there. I think there's so much, if you have a heart, God damn it.
Yeah,
you should be
seriously.
Able to, it's not, I don't know. Yes. It's not a perfect film.
No.
And of course you go always, and yeah, it could be more diverse for sure. I'd love to see, who am I thinking of?
Any of these characters could have been African-American.
Right. Thank you.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what we got. It's what it was. That was at the time. That was how they cast it. But it's a great cast. Yeah. And it's on Netflix. If you already have a subscription, it's completely enjoyable. It really holds up, especially if the news has been bad lately. Mm-hmm. It kind of hits a sweet spot.
Yeah. And sometimes you need a tearjerker movie
to manifest your feelings, to kind of sort it out.
Yeah, to kind of help you let it go a little and let it out. And it felt really good to watch it. It had been such a long time, and I'm just glad we did it.
Me too.
I made a list of some tearjerker movies.
Oh, I like this. Go.
Okay. I pulled these from a couple of different lists. So in no particular order. My Girl.
Oh, that movie.
Sob
my goddamn eyes out.
Yep, totally. Terms of Endearment.
Bawl my eyes out.
The Color Purple.
Bawl my goddamn eyes out.
Oh my God, so many of these. Okay, this next one played at my theater. I listened to women cry 5 times a day, basically, in this theater. Beaches.
I love that movie.
Beaches. Women were it played 5 times a day at my theater. Every theater, you go in there and all you hear is it's so sad. The Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
So that's a really, really, I know earlier I was like, it's all dudes or whatever. I'm fine with a movie that has all dudes. It's a very, very good movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah. E.T.
Oh, yes. Makes me cry my eyes out.
Yes. It's so good. Old Yeller.
I've never seen it.
I won't watch Old Yeller, but I know it's a tearjerker. I won't. I know how it ends. That's why I can't watch it. Along the same lines, actually, I have seen this one. Bambi.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Bambi makes people sob. The Green Mile.
That's motherfucker, that movie. Oh, God.
I haven't gone. By the way, a lot of these movies I only saw once because I can't go back. I can't. Schindler's List. obviously. Like,
yeah.
I don't even, it feels inappropriate to call it a tearjerker movie.
It's a laugh riot.
Yeah, but that's a brutal one. And then I got two more for you. $1 Million Baby.
I only watched that once.
It made me cry when I saw it. And the first 15 minutes of Up.
That movie is a motherfucker too.
Fuck that movie.
Oh my God. But if you need to access your emotions and you're having a hard time, they're good for that.
Absolutely. Pixar movies are really good at that because I'll tell you, Toy Story 2 makes me cry. Toy Story 3 makes me cry. Inside Out makes me cry. Yeah, that movie. A lot of Pixar movies hit me in a sweet spot for sure.
Yeah. Do you want to know the top 10 songs when this movie came out?
Yeah, I do. I can't wait.
All right, so this is the top 10 of November 18th, 1989. This is America pop singles. Number 10, oh my God, such a good song. Soul to Soul, Back to Life.
I still love that song. Is dope. I love it.
Dope. Still. I love this. Number 9 is Alice Cooper, Poison. Good for Alice.
Oh, Alice Cooper.
New Kids on the Block. Didn't I Blow Your Mind? I didn't know they covered that. You like this?
I don't remember the New Kids one at all.
Nor do I, and I like them, but that passed me. Oh, Richard Marx, Angelina.
Fucking love Richard Marx. I'm not even apologizing. I really like Richard Marx. Yep.
Billy Joel, we didn't start the fire. You couldn't escape that song in 1989.
We didn't start the fire.
Roxette, Listen to Your Heart. Such a good song.
Oh, you couldn't get away from that one either.
Oof. Paula Abdul, It's the Way That You Love Me.
I fucking love Paula Abdul.
So much love. This song you still can't get away from. The B-52s, Love Shack.
Yeah, no. If I listen to the radio, I'll hear Love Shack.
Someplace.
Yes.
Number 2, Milli Vanilli, Blame It on the Rain.
How bananas is it that something like Milli Vanilli happened?
And nobody it took a few months, but people look, we're all being fooled all the time.
True.
Number 1, Bad English, When I See You Smile.
Oh.
We loved a power ballad in 1989.
Yeah, we did. That's a good list.
Yeah.
Let's take a break and then we'll talk about what else we're dorking out about. What else are you dorking out about, Margo?
I finished Stranger Things today, the last 2 episodes.
What'd you think?
Loved it. I loved it. It's long.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 2 movies we saw.
Yeah,
those were not episodes.
That was kind of one of my complaints. Like, by the way, I think this is their best season yet.
Yes.
For sure. And to me, I liked all the other seasons, but this is my favorite season. But all of those episodes were over 1 hour, if not 90 minutes. And some of them were over 2 hours. And I'm like, you could break it up. Break it up. I still want them a little shorter. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Because it's really good.
It's really good. And Eddie I'm going to say anything. No, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. I thought it was good. I saw on Hulu, The Bear. All of the episodes are there. It's an FX series. It stars Jeremy Allen White and Ayo Edebiri. And it's about a guy in Chicago that takes over a restaurant from his cousin who died recently. And it's a lot of Chicago accents and a lot of yelling, a lot of beef, a lot of cooking.
All right.
30 minutes a piece. All the episodes are there. I super loved it.
Okay.
I watched each episode twice. I really
Wow. All right.
Really, really like. And now I was very sick, so I needed something to binge, and I really enjoyed it. HBO Max, I watched Barry.
I am just now going to start Barry.
Okay, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I can't believe I have been watching my boyfriend's show. So rude.
Yeah.
And by my boyfriend, I mean Henry Winkler.
Yes. He's all of our boyfriend. Did you ever see Freebie? Do you know what Freebie is?
Mm-mm.
I think it's with Amazon, but it's a channel that is free. You don't need to enter your email for it, so you can stream shit for free. It's freebie. And Jeff Lewis, who had a show on Bravo for years, he was a house flipping out. He was a house flipper, and then the market crashed.
Yeah.
And then he became a designer, and his whole thing was that he was a rude asshole and yelled at people.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah. He doesn't do that anymore. I think he's been humbled a little bit.
Okay.
But it's called Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis. And he's updating these homes for celebrities like Fortune Feimster.
Okay.
And Wilbur Valderrama.
Oh, from That 70s Show.
Yes, that kid. Fez, right?
Yeah,
Fez.
Name.
Okay, Anthony Anderson.
Okay.
Mira Sorvino.
Love her.
Yeah, so they all have like stuff at their home, and then he's not doing the asshole thing. He's just doing helping people, and I like a good vacation or home decoration thing.
Yeah, I'll be into this.
It's the first season. They have like 10 episodes up. Like I was psyched because I really needed to. And now they're just going to be on Friday. So I don't know if it's just like one episode every Friday, which is going to bum me out. But if you're interested, that's there. And then the Criterion Channel in July.
Tell me.
They have film noir in color. There's a movie called Leave Her to Heaven. It's Jean Crane and Jeannie. Who am I thinking of? God damn it. Old movie star.
Looking it up.
Jean Crane and Jean Tierney.
There you go.
It's my favorite, one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's got Vincent Price.
It's got Vincent Price. It's in color. They're in Arizona. They're in New Mexico, excuse me, in the 1940s.
I will watch this
pristine.
Tonight.
It's gorgeous, and it's dark as shit. Jean Tierney is the most beautiful woman ever on film. The lead guy is kind of a dud, but ignore that.
I feel like that happened a lot in older movies, by the way.
Oh, the women were great and the men were at war.
Exactly. I was looking for something to watch tonight.
Oh, really quick. Sorry. When We Were Kings is on there.
Ooh.
The best boxing documentary. And Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Another one that I haven't seen since the theater.
And then I just want to say thank you to Kristen Meinzer, Movie Therapy with Rafer and Kristen. She had me on her show, and we talked about the podcast and my book coming out. And if you want to hear it, it's available. And Mary Payne from Pink Shade Podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's dropping on Monday, July 4th.
I can't wait to hear this.
And I was super psyched to be on the show.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I will definitely be listening. You know, it's like my favorite thing is to listen to Margo talk about Real Housewives. And then I don't have to watch. The movie I couldn't remember last week because I didn't write it down was Cha Cha Real Smooth. By the way, everyone, when I was like, there was a movie I saw. Why didn't I write it down? I actually really, really like this movie. And it's called Cha Cha Real Smooth. It's written, directed, and starring Cooper Raiff. He's a recent college grad who gets a job as a party starter for bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. And he meets Dakota Johnson, and she's a young mother with an autistic teenager, played by an autistic actress named Vanessa Berghart. It's really, really great. I love it. It's funny and sweet. At no point do I believe that Cooper Raiff is a 22-year-old college grad. He's clearly late 20s, early 30s. That's fine. You got to let it go. But like, it's so much about like the people that you like connect with along the way that like help you make that next step. Really loved it. And I think Vanessa Bernhardt is so good in it as the teenage daughter. It's really, really great. Leslie Mann plays his mother, and Brad Garrett is like his stepdad. Their roles are just not what you think. You think it's like, oh, supportive mom and like grumpy stepdad, and it's like it's just more than that. It's on Apple TV. You can watch it for free right now if you have Apple TV. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. Don't take my not remembering last week as any slight. And the other one I watched, this movie is bananas. It's called RRR.
What?
That's what it's called. Capital R, capital R, capital R. And it's a fictional story about two real-life Indian revolutionaries and their fight against the British in 1920. It's an Indian movie, so it's got this really like amazing action sequences, and then it has like Bollywood dance numbers.
I'm into it.
It's really, really fucking good.
Where'd you get this?
It's on Netflix for free.
Oh.
And I've been seeing like people like tweeting about it because they were like, oh my God, the action is like over the top bananas action. It's also about like the friendship between these two revolutionaries. They're actually like not on the same side, but they don't know they're not on the same side. And eventually they figure it out, and then they split apart, and then they like come back together. But there's also like really great like dance numbers in it, and this movie is not boring. I'll just say that. It is very entertaining. It is long though. It is a little over 3 hours long. If you don't want to sit through it that long, I would suggest breaking it up.
Okay.
But
I could do that.
I was never bored. I watched the whole thing. I didn't look at my phone, nothing. I was into it.
That's on the poster. Sonia Mansfield. I watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing. Sonia Mansfield, Dorking Out Show. I like action movies very much, and I love musicals. So this movie, it checks a lot of boxes for me. It's really great. I highly recommend. All the people on Twitter and TikTok that were recommending it did not steer me wrong.
Awesome.
Also, there's a lot of handsome people in it. I'll just say that, and beautiful women, and the clothes are great, and it's real good. So I think those are my two. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You could find me on Twitter and Instagram at Brooklyn Fit Chick. My site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm on TikTok at Margo Donahue.
And her book is coming out soon, filmed in Brooklyn.
Yay!
And I have ordered my copy, and you should do the same. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. Margo gave me a sneak peek of the cover, and I'm just like, I'm delighted. It's going to be so good. You should be very proud. You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and sometimes Facebook. You can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com. If you would like some stickers, you could email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. And if you want to leave us a review on wherever you listen to your podcast, that would be great. We will give you a shout out on the air. We'll give you a shout out on the show. And it really helps offset the 1-star reviews we get from people who are mad that we breathe.
You were cursing.
That I curse. That I curse or we breathe.
During the apartment. Like, that's a sacrosanct thing. You can't.
How dare you? How dare you?
Madam.
Well, this was fun. I am so glad that we got to talk about Steel Magnolias finally, because I know it had been very, very requested. So it is done. So thank you, Margo.
And let's get Shelby her juice, God damn it.